A lot of my research has been focused on alcohol use in Ireland and alcohol-related harm, and this involves looking at trends in consumption and the harms related to alcohol and the policy responses that can be introduced in relation to this. As a lot of my work is done on my own and is very much desk-based, I'm very lucky in that I can work from home about 2 or 3 days a week. So I'm in the office generally on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and I work the rest of the week from home, which is County Down. Going to Galway was a huge deal for me. I was just 18 and I'd only had my accident 4 years prior to that. So really I'd been living at home where my parents were very good and did everything for me, and I had to move away from my home and all the support I had there and live on my own and try and just look after myself from morning to night without any support. So it was quite daunting, but at the same time it made me be independent and made me look out for myself, and I absolutely loved my time there. While I did well academically there, I think the fact it was my first big move away from home was probably the biggest thing I got out of going to Galway. Sport really only came into my life in 2006 when I moved to Dublin, and I met up with a guy who was involved in sport and he convinced me to give it a go. So I went along to the Irish Wheelchair Association in Clondarp where I tried out wheelchair basketball, wheelchair rugby, and then I progressed onto athletics. The shot put suits me as a sport. First of all, it's an individual sport, and given that I have a family and a full-time job, it's great that I can fit around the training to suit my schedule. When it comes to actually throwing the shot put itself, I throw it like anybody else would, except I'm sitting on a specially made frame because obviously I can't stand, and this enables me to throw. So the action is just the same, except I'm sitting down while I'm doing it. At the moment I'm training about 5 times a week, and this involves 2 sessions in the gym, 2 sessions of actually throwing the shot put and 1 fitness session. And we're working towards qualifying for the World Championship in London. So it'd be great to go to London because that's where the 2012 Games were held, and it promises to be a really big event.
I work in the Civil Engineering Department at NUI Galway, and I lecture around water, wastewater engineering and transport engineering. But I guess luckily the skills you have as an engineer mean you can apply them to other things, and I suppose cycling is one of my passions, and I'm lucky enough to be able to use those skills to do some research in that area as well. I got involved actually in research on the bike about 2 years ago, and it was actually how I got involved in the paracycling as well. I was asked to do a project by Cycling Ireland on, I suppose, designing bikes and some data analytic work around cycling. And I agreed, and I guess it's been fantastic since then, because I'm working now with the University in Eindhoven with some colleagues here and a PhD student, and we're I suppose looking at various aerodynamic aspects of bike design, which obviously, you know, the results of which can help me as well as other athletes. Cycling at a high level, it requires, I guess, a huge amount of discipline and time. It's probably a sport that requires the most amount of time, I would have thought. And I think the last couple of years cycling with the Paralympic team has been a bit of an eye-opener, because I'm probably training more now than I ever did in the past, even though I've raced with able-bodied athletes at in professional races. Yeah, to do a sport like cycling you need a really supportive family. It's sport, as I said, it requires a lot of time, but for example last year we've been abroad for at least half the year, and my daughter's 15 months old. I was at a competition when she was born. I've obviously missed quite a lot of her first year. So I think unless you have really strong support behind you, it will be impossible to do that type of training. Rio was a fantastic experience for me. It was definitely once in a lifetime, because I won't be going as far as Tokyo. I guess I'm back training full time every day, and my plans for this year are to race a full season, finishing up with the World Championships in September in South Africa, and after that I'll reconsider. I think one great thing is that when I came back from Rio, you know, straight back into work, and it actually worked out very well for me. I guess it's a good way to come back from such an event, and I think it shows that, you know, if I do decide after South Africa to finish racing, you know, being able to come back into work will make it a lot easier.